Bill Zeltman, the real estate guru, wanted to talk to you a little bit today about listing conversations. Notice I didn't say listing presentation, I said listing conversation. The reason, and I want to be very clear about this, the reason we don't use the word presentation is a presentation is kind of what I'm doing right now, or what I do when I do a real estate training. I talk, you listen. It's not a two-way conversation. It's me telling. When you are having a conversation, it's a two-way street, and it's people talking back and forth. This is so important when you go out to meet with somebody in a house, and especially if you're a new realtor. You want to go out as a new realtor. Maybe you've got your nice little binder with your listing conversation in it. I'll use the word presentation on that because that's what that is, a presentation. And you've got your little slides, or you're using your iPad, or you're using whatever it is. You go from slide 1 to slide 2 to slide 3, and you go right through the thing. You build your rapport like you're taught. You tour the house while you're building the rapport. You talk about it. You talk about all these things. You go through your marketing. This is my marketing, A, B, C, D, and you hit your marketing plan. Then you go to build your pricing conversation. You talk about, you show what the value of their house is and give them a realistic view of what their house should be. And again, we'll talk more about that in other ones, but you want to make sure that you take the emotion out of it and it becomes a simple math equation that makes this is what your home is worth. Then you go into your closing where you're going to try to get them to sign. And if you just do this and you're talking at them, they tune out. They completely tune out. So what you want to do is have a conversation with them and get their buy-in each time when they're going through this. So you do that by asking questions. My marketing plan, we market using the MyTown Guru system. This is a community webpage that only my listings can go on. So everybody can see, and this is where you're trying to get them in a conversation. So, everybody that knows us can see that my listings have more exposure than anybody else's. Don't you see how why that's the case? Because this website is exclusive to me and has been viewed by nearly 10 million people since 2015. And by asking that question, I get them to respond. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, by getting them to respond, now I have buy-in. Now I get the fact that they believe and know that because I have a website that 10 million people have been to since 2015 that is exclusive to me for their town, that their listing's going to be seen by more people. You do understand, right, that when the more people that I can get to see that your property is for sale and on the market, the better shot we have of selling it. It's as simple as this. If 50 people see your property is for sale and I get 10 of them to see your house, I've got that shot with those 10 people. But if I can get 100 people to see your house is for sale, and of those 100 people, I can get 20 people or 25 people in, don't you see how I'm going to get your house sold quicker and for more money because I'm going to get your house to have more exposure? Does that make sense to you? Wait for an answer. Make it conversational. If they're giving you one-word answers, ask more complex questions. And another thing, don't ever, ever, ever ask a question that they can say no to. Going back to when you're setting the appointment with them. Don't say, hey, can I come over tomorrow at 2 o'clock? And they say, no, my son has a baseball game. Well, guess what? That was a no answer and you're out of it. What if you do it this way? Which works better for you, Tuesday or Thursday? And they say, well, Thursday. But even if they say neither, okay, well, how about Saturday or Sunday? But at least you're not getting that complete no and you're giving power of option close. So you go back to the Tuesday or Thursday. Okay, what time's better for you, 10 a.m. or 2 p.m.? And instead of them saying no, the worst thing they could say is, well, I'm actually better at 5 o'clock. And you know what? 5 o'clock's great, so let's shoot for 5 o'clock. But that's the type of stuff you want to be doing in your listing conversation. It needs to be a conversation, not a presentation, both ways through. This becomes extremely important in the pricing conversation because there is going to be a lot of telling because you're going to sit there with, if you're doing this right, with a lot of data, with a lot of facts, and you're going to be doing a lot of explaining. So you need to ask questions in there before you go to a close. If you know that this house should list for $275,000 and you just have this feeling that the seller is going to want to have it list for $300,000, you need to show them the fact that the comp just sold for $265,000. And you have to ask them a question before you get to the pricing conversation. Yeah, the fact that this house sold for $265,000, do you understand how the appraisal process works and that this will be used when they go to appraise your house? Does that make sense to you? Yes. Well, yes. Well, now you know you can't sell your house for $300,000 because the appraisal on this one just came in at 265, or the house is sold at 265, and that's what they're going to be using for the appraisal. And you get the conversation going now before they throw an objection at you later. So these are all things that it becomes extremely important when you're out on a listing conversation to make sure it is just that, a conversation. I'm Bill Zeltman, real estate guru, coming at you. Take care.